Hey guys, this is Zane here, back at it again with another episode of watching Monster House every single day this month with friends because I want them to. I had initially planned for someone to be on for today, but going over a couple of what we might want to talk about and stuff, it was hard to find some specific examples of some certain things, so I'll hopefully be doing that one for tomorrow. But I mean, until then, it'll just be me for today. Which, I mean, at this point isn't all that unusual. But that's totally okay. So, of course, watching the movie again is just as good as it's always been. And I actually, I Googled for some potential fan theories and or, like, other things online just about it. I actually went through a Monster House subreddit that apparently exists, but I don't think it really kind of does. The subreddit mentioned something about, they call themselves like the Moho, which, and I sounds sort of like Soho, like South Houston, I believe is what that is. So I don't know if it has something to do with a place in the world. And I mean, Mo just makes me think of Morth, which is like not north, you know? So I there's a couple posts on there from somewhat recently. They're just some memes, but there really isn't a whole lot going on there, that's for sure. I think there's like 72 subscribers, and it's been up since 2012. So it certainly is not the most lively thing out there. But, you know, that's kind of just the way it goes sometimes. And then what I also ended up doing was I scrolled through the entire, like, well, not the entire, but about 90% of the entire Tumblr tag page for Monster House, which went all the way back to like 2011. That's roughly as far as that I went, which is pretty far. There's a couple interesting posts that I pulled out from there that I'll definitely read off, and a couple of other ones that are significantly interesting. There's a lot of fan fiction and self-insert stuff with the movie, which is, I mean, it's not my thing, but I mean, hey, if that makes you happy, go for it. It's just kind of funny when I'm trying to find information about the movie, then I'm walking upon a whole lot of just fan theory stuff, or them taking Overwatch characters or characters from literally anything else and then plopping them in like this movie. Someone straight up went through the entire script of the movie, typed up the entire script, like words, actions that were happening alongside the movie, everything like that, and put in Overwatch characters instead of the main characters. The amount of dedication and effort that that person went through just for that little thing that looks like it only got like 20 notes or something is insane, and I can totally admire that. Like, it's nuts. I believe they used Junkrat as Chowder, Hana or Hannah, I think it's Hana, who's, what's her name? Diva in Overwatch. It's been forever since I've even played the game. And I can't quite remember who they had as DJ. But I mean, I guess it wasn't inherently that important. And then Bones was something Morrison, which I think was Soldier 76. And then I don't even know who an Evercracker ended up being. The thing was just all over the place, though. But hey, I mean, I scrolled through a good amount of it and was shocked with how long it is. I'll have to see if I'll recreate Monster House at one point or another. Maybe it'd be funny. Might not be totally worth the time, though. Other things that I got were weird inside jokes. Millions of people talking about how underrated Monster House is. A bunch of the exact same screen grabs. People comparing it to, what is it, American Horror Story, I think. Just straight up pictures of kind of creepy looking houses. What else have we got? People fan casting. What if they ever did a live action movie of this? They try and get the main characters to be played by, which I'll actually discuss a little bit more further down the road here. And what else do we got? I took a couple notes on this. There's just random references that people did. really, really long essays involving fat phobia on the topic. Tons of people joking about homophobia and being fear of homes, which is something else. A lot of just interesting shit posts. I won't even put it lightly. That's just exactly like what it is. But like the meme posts on there are nowhere near the caliber that were on the subreddit. You'd get stuff like Monster House, but every single time Chowder bounces the basketball, the video gets, or it speeds up and his voice gets deeper. Or every time Chowder bounces the basketball, the bass gets boosted, stuff like that, which are actually super funny to watch. And it's the kind of content that makes my, it just kind of hits the right place, and it's so stupid that it becomes absolutely hilarious. So I guess a couple of the posts that I had mentioned on here, some of them I don't really want to read, but like, I'll read them anyways because some of them are kind of hilarious. So starting off, we've got the song "Once in a Lifetime" by the Talking Heads was written about Monster House, and they put 2006 in brackets, like we had to specify that there's more than one. Their evidence being, "This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife." And now I don't know when the song "Once in a Lifetime" by Talking Heads came out, but it's a good meme. Talking Heads is also a really good band though, so I'll take it. Here's I don't even want to read this one out loud, but I'm gonna do it. Old man Nevercracker dick that house down. He was all in that house pussy all those years. I feel dirty reading that one out loud. There's a surprising amount of posts of something of the similar variety. I mean, if you want to go find them, go for it. But holy crap. Yeah. Okay. Chowder just being the child version of Jonesy from Fortnite, which is that, I believe, blonde-haired default character that there is. And also saying that Ziggy from Lazy Town is just another version of Chowder, all of which wear pretty much like a white shirt, blonde hair. Really not much else to it. They also have like a similar hairstyle and how it looks like it's made out of clay. People saying that Up is the happy version of Monster House, which actually is a pretty good one. The story of like an old guy whose wife dies, and then the entire thing is focused around his house, except the kid in Up is a Boy Scout and the girl in Monster House is like a Girl Scout. I mean, cinematic parallels, kind of, they're relatively close enough, and you can make an argument for that. That one's like a little bit, actually, I never thought about that one before until I saw some posts for that, so kudos on them for that. Okay, this one's a little bit long, but I'll get to it. Monster House is a horror comedy that represents the struggle for power between a sentient anarcho-capitalist house and the humans living in the neighborhood that surrounds it. The house repeatedly tries to vore its neighbors' lost possessions, and sometimes the neighbors themselves, when it perceives them to be violating the NAP of its owner, Mr. Nevercracker. Incels, DJ, and Chowder, under the guidance of their authoritarian communist lesbian babysitter, Z, aka Joan Jett, must defeat the Monster House. But first, they have to prevent their attraction to local femoid multi-level marketing tycoon and future student of Prager University, Jenny, from coming between their friendship. In this paper, I will explain They basically already explained the entire paper. Just right there. I'm not entirely sure what the NAP is. Z's definitely not a lesbian. But I'm getting way too far into this, obviously, comedic post, so I won't go any further into it, but I just thought that was hilarious. Of anarcho-capitalist house, incels, DJ, and Chowder. The use of vor, authoritarian communist lesbian babysitter, femoid multi-level marketing tycoon. Like, there's a lot to unpack from just that one little post. So, yeah, there's certainly something. Someone also says the movie Monster House is just a metaphor for vor. Vor is just such a interesting word. I don't even know a better way of describing it. It's just, yeah. Someone saying homophobia is out, homophobia is in. There's a lot of that, like I mentioned before. And then one last absolutely just terrible post. You know what, man? Monster House is so messed up. His house is his wife. Does that mean he pees and poops inside her every day? Yeah. There's also a... Oh, yeah, there's just a lot. Oh my gosh. Like reading on, my biggest mistake was reading into what people thought about this movie online. I don't know why I haven't done it sooner, but it's a pretty big mistake to do so now, at least this far in. Let's see. Oh, someone, actually, I was going through YouTube videos trying to find like fan theories and stuff about the movie. Spoiler alert, there's basically none, because the movie actually covers pretty much everything that's discussed in the movie. And one of the comments, whether or not it's true, is particularly interesting, so I'll read it out. I worked on this film on the motion capture team. It was a pretty interesting experience. A number of things got cut due to budget or time, and some reshoots were conducted. One thing that was cut was a whole nightmare sequence wherein DJ glides to the house across the street and finds the furnace, which erupts with fire and snarls at him. He tries to climb the stairs to escape, but the stairs keep going up, but getting narrower above the bottomless pit. Remember, it's a nightmare, until he eventually falls, then awakes right away. So, that also goes back to the nightmare sequence that I talked about before with the pipes and stuff coming out, but they had to cut it due to it being too scary. There was a little bit more in regards to that post, but there's nothing that can particularly give me credit to see if they actually did work on the motion capture team. They also discussed John Heater breaking his leg on the first day of filming, and he broke his leg when he was walking out of the pizza place in the movie, and he didn't even yell or make any noise or anything. He just kind of limped around for a little bit, and they figured out that he broke his leg. So that's a pretty baller move, to just kind of play it off like it was nothing. And oh, another interesting little post was that I didn't realize this, but the kids showed up in the 2006 Oscars. So in the Oscars of that year, I don't know how many years they've done it or when the last time they actually did it was, but they do like a little scan of the crowd, and I guess in some of the empty seats they'd animate some characters from whatever movies were nominated that year or potentially up for running. So as they're like going across the crowd, in a couple of seats, I only saw Chowder and Jenny, but I'm assuming DJ was also one of the ones there. And you could also see like Happy Feet and a couple other animated movie characters in the audience. Can't even remember any other ones besides Happy Feet. Oh, Cars. Wait. Oh my gosh, Cars came out the same year I think as well. But Happy Feet ended up winning. Huh. A lot of meme potential came out from that year. And that's like, of the interesting stuff I found from doing like that deep dive, that was sort of about it. Like, you'd be surprised how little stuff there is on this movie. There's a couple, I think there's more than two, but from top results, there is two videos explaining Monster House, and they talk about theories, but they're not inherently theories because they're just going over pretty much the backstory of Constance and whatnot. And I don't know, there's not a whole lot to say about them or stuff that I've already said. And one of these days I will have to do an in-depth thing on Constance and Nevercracker's backstory, because it is a really, really good talking point. And man, I'm already almost like having a little bit of trouble with this episode, and I'm only like 15 minutes in. That's okay. I'll press on for a good little bit more, but I might have to end this one a little bit early because I got through a lot of the stuff significantly faster than I expected to. Oh, actually, big point that I meant to talk about. Fan casting, and tons of people alluding this movie to saying like Monster House walked so that It from 2017 could run, and other things like that. Which, I mean, pretty similar in concept between the two of them. Main character has a friend, meets up with a girl who's ginger to help them defeat the main evil. What else do we got? People comparing it to Stranger Things. People doing fan casting. The comparisons with Stranger Things pretty much go as main character, who in this case would be Mike from Stranger Things and DJ in Monster House, has a good friend who's a little bit larger in comparison to him, being Chowder and Dustin in Stranger Things. And then supernatural power, but like Eleven isn't inherently a character that like translates over to this one. Steve could almost be the babysitter for the first little bit of the first season, but eventually kind of drops out. No real Nevercracker. It could almost be Jim Hopper in that regard. And I guess the paranormal thing could just be the entire like upside down thing happening all at once. And people were fan casting. Finn Wolfhard as DJ. Gaten Marzado, I believe, is... I might have butchered his name, and I'm really sorry for that. The guy that played Dustin to play Chowder, just give him some blonde hair. And then Max from season 2, I don't actually know who played her, but to get her to play Jenny in these, of course, role as Jenny. And a couple other fan casts, Steve Buscemi as Nevercracker, which of course is, who he is. Kevin James as the cop, of course, same guy as before. The babysitter wasn't cast as Maggie Gyllenhaal for a couple of them. Can't for the life of me actually remember who they cast as her, but it wasn't, like, it looks like Maggie Gyllenhaal, so it just, like, it works. Young Nevercracker was, I think, Bill Skarsgård, the guy that played Pennywise in It, which actually works surprisingly well. He's got the Steve Buscemi eyes, certainly, and the lanky white boy look to him. What else was the big... Paul Rudd is the dad. I don't know who the actor was that they got to play the mom, but at the same time, it's like those actors have such few lines that it's not a huge deal. Someone also on Tumblr said, the dad from... It's confirmed the dad from Monster House is gay. Or no, bi, not gay. Sorry. Big distinction there. I don't want to... And I'm not lumping those two together. But yeah, they're like, confirmed. He's bi. And it's like, there's pretty much nothing to say so. But you get a lot of fan theories like that on Tumblr, of course. So it's kind of to be expected. Also, one thing I totally forgot, because it's glossed over so fast in the movie, is that the dad mentions like peeping Tom, or being a peeping Tom, a long time ago when he was younger, before he met his mom. So that's really something. And there is an interesting amount of like sexual jokes that they make. People alluding that the uvula is actually in reference to the vulva, stuff like that. There's a lot going on that you don't inherently understand right away, especially when you're younger. And what was the other fan casting thing? I guess, like, if they ever would make this a live action movie, but nowadays it definitely could work, like, moderately well, surprisingly. Do I want that to happen? No, I don't think I actually do. I don't want there to be a chance of somehow ruining it. But a lot of people talked that the animation holds up really well, and for Disney rebooting stuff and it looks not good, they should go back and see how much this movie cost to make and follow in its footsteps. Which, I'll agree with that. That's for sure. Also, I have to say, the movie poster, the one that, if you're on YouTube, you're probably seeing on right now, but it's the one where all the kids are looking at the house and like the doors just open a little bit and there's light coming from it, is significantly better than the one that they use for the DVD box art, which is the house in the background and then the faces of all the kids like looking towards like the camera and holding their squirt guns. It's really doesn't quite work as well, but maybe they wanted a more child-friendly looking one, so they went with that. And the whole movie is just something. Oh, also people referring to Monster House when certain characters in interviews are wearing shirts that look pretty similar, or people coming up with starter packs for all the different characters. There's just a whole lot going on, and a lot of people have a lot of different stuff to say, but very few people are super vocal about saying the movie's really bad. And I mean, hey, I'm okay with that. I don't want them to be trashing my movie. It doesn't deserve that. But I think this pretty much covers up everything that I actually wanted to talk about this time. Which, I mean, kind of sucks that I'm a little bit short on time. And I'm sad for that. But, I mean, there's literally nothing else for me to talk about right now. And I don't want to start on a tangent with something else because I don't want to drag it out for any longer than it really needs to be. But for tomorrow, I should have an episode actually with a friend. I mean, I had one with a friend yesterday, so that still counts. But I've got a bunch more coming up, and I finding like 30ish or so friends to do it with wasn't as possible as I initially thought at the beginning of the month. But that's okay. We're making it this far, and this is probably the most trouble I've had when it comes to actually doing an episode. I had an easier time on the first episode, and I'm still coming up with exciting stuff to do for other ones. But anyways, I guess this will be the time where I call it for now. So I hope all of you guys are having a wonderful, or as good as it can possibly be, quarantine. And I guess I'll be seeing you guys here tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.